So I'm sure you guys have seen a video going around last week of these two people throwing a tin of Heinz tomato soup at a Van Gogh painting. Kind of a weird way to spend your weekend, but guys, who are we to judge? I spend most of my weekends reacting to horrible TikToks, so in some ways equally just as weird. For some reason, this just seems like it's turning into a massive trend at this point, with climate activists just letting us ruin the planet while they just go and ruin every other aspect of living. And for some reason, their obsession recently of just wanting to destroy paintings. Now, I don't know why this is turning into a massive trend recently, but over this past year, we've seen a lot of activists going into galleries and just throwing stuff at paintings. Like they're trying to play dodgeball or something with these 100 million worth paintings. Because you kind of have that on the one hand, and then quite literally on the other hand, you have activists gluing their hands to the painting. Almost as if it's a Mr. Beast video and the last one to take their hand off the painting wins the painting or something. I don't know what it is about the new generation, guys, but they be wild. And if you missed any of that from last week, here's a little sneak peek of what went down.
What's the one?
Is it worth more than food? Worth more than justice? Are you more concerned about the protection of a painting or the protection of our planet and people? The cost of living crisis is part of the cost of oil crisis.
Now, I will be honest, I know what you're thinking. How the hell do you know how much the cost of living is? You look like you're about 15 years old. You're still living at home. I can guarantee they're either living on a campus in uni where their parents are paying for it, or they only have to pay a fraction of real actual renting prices, or they live home with their parents. Guys, there's nothing better in life than being lectured by a kid on how much the real world costs. I also found it a little bit strange that the one place that they seem to keep coming back to is an art museum. I would personally consider a lot of the people that actually believe and try and support climate change charities would probably be people that are also interested in art as well. So they're basically just kind of targeting their own audience at this point, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It would be like going to a football stadium and me shouting at Arsenal fans that they need to watch the Arsenal game. I think I don't have to worry about that anymore. Considering that they're already in the stadium, I feel like they're probably going to watch it anyway. I'm telling you guys, they need to know their target audience and they're not delivering. Second of all, who's this person here on the bottom right looking like Leafy is here, holding the can like they're doing a promotion video for Heinz? Is this sponsored by Heinz? I was kind of expecting them at any point to be like, this protest is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends for the best mobile game. Link in the description. Free gift card giveaway.
Fuel is unaffordable to millions of cold, hungry families. They can't even afford to heat a tin of soup. Meanwhile, crops are dead.
Why am I also expecting Mr. Beast to just walk around the corner at this point? I've hired two retards to stick their hand on the Van Gogh painting. The last person to take their hand off wins the painting. I'm just saying, at this point, guys, I know you have to go through security when you go into any of these museums. I know women's handbags at this point are just bottomless pits that seem to store half of their whole life belongings. But is super glue really necessary? I'm just saying, for the security guards that definitely are watching this video and work at the British Museum or Art Museum, here's a little tip. If you see someone with colour hair and they have super glue in their purse, don't let them in. How do they even wiggle you out? They probably didn't even check, to be honest. They literally pat you down with the same energy of AVG searching your PC for a computer virus. They just kind of let anything through. But she keeps waffling on about hungry people, cold families, you know, making some pretty not bad points. I feel like it's executed very poorly. You do something dramatic like this, I know always their argument is, Well, actually, guys, we got the conversation starting, so our job here is done. Well, not really. I feel like a lot of the people that watch this type of content on Facebook or YouTube, when it makes its rounds on all the social media platforms, people just make fun of these people. Like, they don't actually talk about any of the topics that they necessarily bring up or any of the concerns that they're trying to address in any of these videos. They kind of just mimic them. Like, for example, this person right here, I've seen a bunch of fucking memes saying he looks like Whomville from the Grinch movie. Kind of does. And just a bunch of people making fun of them. Like, I don't think I've actually seen one person share this video with like, congratulations guys, you did a great job this weekend. Really doing God's work. I don't think I've seen one post saying anything like that. And you never really do. We had a bunch of protests last year, I think it was as well, in the UK, where for some reason full-grown adults were super gluing their hand to the road. And again, the only thing that was good from that was really the videos that came out, because it was pretty hilarious as the police tried to pick them up and obviously get them out of the way, because, well, not very convenient when they're on the road. I know that's kind of their whole point, but they would literally start screaming because, well, don't expect to super glue your hand on the road and not have any of your hand to be staying on the side of the road. You're not getting your full hand back when you do stupid shit like that. Guys, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Just saw a massive mockery on Facebook and all these like websites, and I never saw anyone actually discussing about the real arguments with climate change, which, you know, is a very real topic that needs to be addressed, but they just do it in such a way that really hurts their argument. Like, people don't want to take these people serious, and now it's almost as if, like, when I say climate change, you kind of look at me as like a crazy person that believes in ghosts or UFOs. You know what I mean? Like, again, those types of things could be very real, but the people that kind of promote that stuff are normally massive wackos. Well, anyway, this girl made a response video talking about some of the things that they did the other day in the museum. It's kind of interesting. And this is what she said.
Trusty soup can, got my brand now. I would like to make one thing perfectly clear. We did no damage to the painting whatsoever. I was in court yesterday, heard that there's been minimal damage done to the frame, which is repairable and replaceable, and absolutely no damage done to the painting. It was behind glass, and we never ever would have considered doing it if we didn't know that it was behind glass and that we wouldn't do any damage.
We're off to a great start. Guys, it did no damage. Not even one little bit of damage. None. Apart from a little bit of damage. But yeah, apart from that, no damage.
I mean, literally, we were sat there so glued to the wall. They wiped it off with a bit of kitchen roll. I recognise that it looks like a slightly ridiculous action. I agree, it is ridiculous. But we're not asking the question, should everybody be throwing soup on paintings? What we're doing is getting the conversation going so we can ask the questions that matter. Questions like, is it okay that Liz Truss is licensing over 100 new fossil fuel licenses? Is it okay that fossil fuels are subsidised 30 times more than renewables when offshore wind is currently 9 times cheaper than fossil fuels?
Going back to the previous point, again, I've not seen anybody asking these questions. Like, generally seen more people asking the question, is it okay to be throwing cans of soup at paintings? Like, generally, I'm not saying that to even try and be funny or strengthen my point of view. I'm just generally saying what I've seen more of, which is none of the questions that they're wanting to be asked, but a lot more of like the silly, ridiculous ones, and people just making general fun of them. Now, they talk about all these types of things, but I find the one thing that's funny about all these environmentalists is when we have cleaner options of energy, especially in Europe, like nuclear power plants, they don't even want to hear about it. They kind of shut that down. And then they want other stuff, like she just said, wind turbines in the ocean, which, by the way, kills hell of a lot of wildlife, which kind of goes against their claim. It's really weird how a lot of these people seem to just sort of pick and choose their arguments, but they'll definitely take out snippets and won't ever address that kind of stuff. For example, the wind turbines generally killing a lot of birds. They'll kind of brush over that and say, yeah, but it's cleaner, so it's better for the animals, when it's really not. Again, I know with like nuclear power plants, there's always that scare of that having a bad reaction and having another Chernobyl. But again, that was a long time ago. They have a lot more safety features now, and the likelihood of something like that ever happening again is extremely slim. They don't want that kind of stuff, which now in some places like Germany, for example, really forces their hand to try and use other alternatives like fossil fuels and try and get their energy, in their case, from Russia, which as of now hasn't worked out that well. So they've been fighting for this like really hard, and again, all it's really done is a lot of damage to their own countries and hasn't done a whole lot of good.
Is it okay that it is there in action that has led us to the cost of living crisis? Where this winter people are going to be forced to choose between heating and eating? This is the conversation we need to be having now, because we don't have time to waste. Last year, Sir David King said what we do in the next 3 to 4 years will determine the future of humanity. So we're using these actions to get media attention because we need to get people talking about this now. And we know that civil resistance works.
It works so well, in fact, that from them doing this in the past 5 years, nothing's changed. Although that's kind of a lie, there have been things that have changed. They have generally changed the way that they now get energy to countries. And these environmentalists shutting down cleaner options as they try and experiment with newer options for them to try and get this cleaner energy. Again, being told by like a 15 or 16-year-old how energy works and what path we should really be going down, and how dare they be carrying on with the path that they're going towards, which, by the way, half of them give no other alternatives and just sort of scream and shout at them, telling them to stop, even though they don't fully understand that, okay, fine, if we just shut everything down, you guys don't have power for the whole country. Like, that's obviously not an option at that point. And then secondly, a lot of them doing their research from YouTube videos or Facebook videos that they've seen on their timeline. Like, again, even this video, I'm sure people watching this understand that I'm not an expert in the whole energy crisis. I'm just a guy on YouTube that makes questionably funny and entertaining videos to hundreds of people. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Papa Blaze, you get thousands of views. Yes, thousands of people watch, only a few are entertained. But I do find it funny that they carry on with this whole repetitive cycle of doing these protests, and they claim that they work, but again, they really don't. And when they do, they can actually be detrimental or actually hurt their cause in the long run. And on top of all of that, I find a lot of these people are like the biggest hypocrites in the world when it comes to a lot of this stuff. For example, that Swedish girl, Greta Thunberg, takes her private jets or her private cruises to these TED Talks and then talks about climate change. Like, okay. And that raises many issues for children giving these speeches, because again, for someone like Greta Thunberg to be giving these speeches is clearly not her own thoughts or her own opinions. There's clearly stuff that the parents wrote down and they practiced in the bathroom mirror the night before. Okay, Greta, now you're gonna say this tomorrow, okay? Because this is what you want. We need a better future for you. And again, the issue with these types of people giving their opinions is that they're not experts on this. So, as again, from last year, we saw some very real consequences as a result of this. I made a few videos previously about this, and there was a lot of stories coming out about people trying to get even to the hospital to see their loved ones because they're in their final moments. But yet, because Margaret in her 70s over here is unemployed now with a sick-ass pension, has way too much free time on her hands, thought it'd be a sick idea to gorilla glue her hand on the road and inconvenient everyone else that doesn't have pensions and actually needs to make a living. Just find it extremely backward as well. Guys, people are gonna starve this year. We need to help them. So they help them by gluing their hands on the road so they can't get to work and make money and feed their families that night. Great success. They really do be the smartest people on the planet. And the glue that they use is made from factories that use oil. So again, and even these people that did their protest the other day, I'm pretty sure the organization that they go for, I saw some articles saying that the head person of this whole movement has ties with oil companies. Which I wouldn't be surprised. I know it's a bit of a conspiracy. Hey, I probably look like a bit of a wacko right now. But who knows? I wouldn't even be surprised if oil companies do pay these people with colour hair to chuck tomato soup on the paintings. She thinks she's doing a great job and that she's starting these conversations and she's doing the right thing. But again, like I said, they're just making these people seem really dumb, and it makes people angry at them and don't want to listen. What's the best way, guys, to make someone try and listen to one of your arguments? Maybe seeing a little bit of their side of you first and trying to compromise a little bit would be a good approach. Not to come charging in, kicking down their door, and forcing your ideas literally down their throat. In past experience, I just never have seen that ever work, and it never really does.
We never hurt anyone, and Insulate Britain last year, they showed that tactics like roadblocks do work. Effective advertising campaign we have ever seen. You know, my soup video has now got 50 million views. People around the world are talking about it because this conversation needs to happen now.
So watching that last bit as well, that was it, insulate Britain. They didn't even hurt anyone, guys. Oh, well, actually, no. Apart from the people on the motorway trying to get to hospitals with heart attacks and strokes that then couldn't get to the hospitals and died. I mean, yeah, those, I guess. But man, no, we didn't really hurt anyone though, like, not really. And if you think I made up that story, no, that was an actual thing that happened. I know, again, there was an actual woman that had a heart attack, tried to get to the hospital, and she couldn't get there because of all the roadblocks that they made. And again, saying that it worked, it didn't. Prices have gone way up. So that was also a complete lie. But also her at the end there getting a little bit confused with the more views you get, the better the video is actually comical. Like, again, yeah, sure, you got a whole lot of publicity from this, but no good conversation started from this. People are laughing at you, and now probably less people want to take part in these climate change causes because, again, they don't want to be associated with people like this. I don't even think it's that bad of a cause, but when they do stuff like this, you're not going to tell people that you're a environmentalist, like, oh, so you're probably one of those wackos then that glued their hand so I couldn't get to work that day, or oh, like that crazy girl on TikTok that threw paint. Just because you get a lot of views on TikTok doesn't mean you're right. That's just, I don't know. It's painful to hear this. It's painful to hear people say these types of things as well. Again, like, I can't really give them too much hate. I know that they're young, impressionable, and they think that they're doing the right thing. And it's not like I'm really like mad at them for thinking this, but I know 5-10 years from now, she's probably going to do a massive facepalm thing and realize just how naive she really was. And I want to end today's video with this small clip because, again, all the stuff I'm saying are just words you can't really see for yourself, but people are generally getting pretty frustrated by this. And before I show you this clip, I also actually want to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Like, how do you view these types of people? Do you think it's great that the conversation is getting started even though they never end up talking about this kind of stuff? I mean, me making this video is probably the closest thing I've seen to actually trying to talk about the actual topic. And I'm gonna be honest, this was just a 20-minute video of making fun of them, so not really. But let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comments down below. And guys, I hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Enjoy this video. Bye-bye.
How do you think you get your avocado? How do you think you get sourdough bread? You all use fuel in some way or another. This is ridiculous. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. It's on the way. I don't care. You need to be arrested. You're a public nuisance. Get out of the way. You think you're helping anything? Yeah. Go outside BP and petroleum. Why are you harming your community? This is your local community, and we're all in the same boat. Go outside BP. Go outside Shell.